Hello, and welcome again to our Lent readings for 2023, considering people who encountered Jesus. Today, it's day 32. Yesterday, we looked at the servant of the high priest. Today, it's the high priest himself. Yesterday, the high priest had sent a mob to arrest Jesus. Today, Jesus stands before him. His name was Joseph ben Caiaphas, but usually he's just simply known as Caiaphas. According to the Jewish historian Josephus, he was high priest from 18 to 36 AD. The account of Jesus standing before Caiaphas and the Jewish ruling council is found in Matthew 26, and we're going to read that starting at verse 62. Those who had arrested Jesus took him to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the teachers of the law and the elders had assembled. But Peter followed him at a distance, right up to the courtyard of the high priest. He entered and sat down with the guards to see the outcome. The chief priests and the whole Sanhedrin were looking for false evidence against Jesus so that they could put him to death. But they did not find any, though many false witnesses had come forward. Finally, two came forward who declared, "This fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days." Then the high priest stood up and said to Jesus, "Are you not going to answer? What is this testimony these men are bringing against you?" But Jesus remained silent. The high priest said to him, "I charge you under oath by the living God. Tell us if you are the Messiah, the Son of God." "You have said so," Jesus replied. "But I tell you all, from now on you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven." Then the high priest tore his clothes and said, "He's spoken blasphemy. Why do we need any more witnesses? Look, now you have heard the blasphemy. What do you think?" "He is worthy of death," they answered. Having been arrested in Gethsemane, Jesus is brought before the high priest and the Jewish ruling council. It would appear that this is straight away that night, with no intention of waiting until morning. Jesus stands before them. Peter is mentioned as following at a distance, but none of the other disciples seem to be in the vicinity. They have scattered. Jesus is alone, with no human support, only the knowledge that his Father's eye never leaves him. The account says that the council were looking for evidence to accuse Jesus, but seem to have struggled to find any. While various accusations from false witnesses were brought against him, Jesus remained silent, as prophesied in Isaiah 53:7. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shearers is silent, so he did not speak. Caiaphas puts a direct question to him. Are you the Messiah, the Son of God? And Jesus breaks his silence to reply in effect that he is. The response is for the high priest to tear his clothes in anger. Caiaphas was the one charged with the spiritual leadership of God's people. Leadership requires discerning what God is doing and leading the people into it. Yet he was blind to what God was doing. He would have heard about the miracles. He would have heard about the teaching. But he still could not see that this was the work of God. He even made one of the most ironic statements in Scripture when he accused Jesus, the Son of God, of blasphemy. As a leader of God's people, well versed in Scripture, his lack of discernment is a tragedy. The issue is that he'd already made up his mind before Jesus was ever arrested. The fact that the council had been called together and was there waiting for him, and a line of witnesses already standing with their stories, shows that the decision had already been made. All they needed to do was find the evidence. by whatever means necessary. There's a warning here against prejudging. We might have an opinion of a person, a leader, a church, a denomination, a Bible college, a theology, etc. But we can't let our preconceived ideas rob us of discernment. When Solomon succeeded his father David as king, God granted him a request. Solomon could have asked for money or power, but his reply is found in 1 Kings 3 verse 9. Give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong. May the Lord give us the same and keep us from the blindness of our own preconceived prejudices. Until next time, have a blessed day.